My name is Jasmine Jones, and I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild. And this is a little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are reviewing Abbott Elementary, Season 4, Episode 15, 100th Day of School. And we are sipped back to absinthe and random juices. So absinthe and lemonade today. So horrible. Oh, it wasted. Okay, well, a little bit. There we go. A makeshift cup holder. How doing? Y'all, I think this is like the 100th episode. That's why it's like the 100th day of school or whatever. That's what I'm reading from this. I was thinking about this show because I think at least once a week, one different client every time I'm mentioning this show to watch, to see what it looks like for a black man to love a black woman. And I had like at least a couple clients over the weekend really just be like, they have no idea what it looks like to be treated with respect by a man, especially a black man. And you know, like a lot of my black female clients, these clients as well, you know, just been in fucked up relationship after fucked up relationship, just accepting bullshit because, like a lot of black women, it started with our dads, you know, and I have a lot of clients like that. And so literally it's been built into a lot of black women's nervous system that we take what we can get and we fix it. Or we try our best to fix it when it's broken. And to be able to see that you can have a relationship where it's not about desperation and taking what you can get and fixing somebody that's broken so that you can have some peace and still, you know, be in relation with someone is, like I said, that's why representation matters. So I'll be telling my clients, I'll be like, you need to watch Abbott Elementary because that is a really good representation from beginning to niggas getting together of what it looks like for a black man to pursue a black woman, to love on a black woman, to listen to a black woman, and to be upfront and be honest and open with a black woman. Like, you know, like emotional intelligence, what does that look like? You need an example of these things, and we don't have examples of these things like that on a consistent basis that we can watch it on TV or multiple movies or something like that. That's why I was watching all them black Christmas romance movies during the holiday, because that was like the closest thing that we could get to seeing some shit like that. And so, yeah, I just thought it was interesting how there's so many of us out there that have absolutely no idea what this looks like. So the fact that they even showed young Shamar Mar, you know, asking Ava out on a date and just being casual about it. Like, he was just like, you know, because let's start in the beginning, because I don't want to get like too lost in the sauce and be mixing up everything and shit. So anyways, this episode is about all of them. And it starts off with everyone's gearing up for this 100th day at the school. And Jacob is doing something really smart that I know a lot of people do. Like when I was a kid, like a lot of people were like, a lot of other kids that I knew were trying to learn different languages by watching like novellas and shit like that, or watching French television, or watching, you know, Korean dramas or some shit, trying to learn a different language. So basically Jacob has took it upon himself to show the kids novellas. Are they age appropriate? Probably not, but you know, this is a different dimension where things like that don't matter. Girl, I was watching shit like that as a kid. My mom was a cinephile. She loved movies. We was watching movies all the time. She taught me how to movie hop. Like, no, like, that's how I learned. Like, that shit kept me safe, because I was smart enough to know that these aren't things that look exciting to me. These are things that are scary. That kept me from going to the high school parties and getting gang raped by the football team in the basement. Like at one Lifetime movie I saw, that shit scared me from ever wanting to go to a high school party ever in my life. I was just like, oh, I never been to one before. Like, I guess this, you know, you dancing, I guess you drinking and stuff. Had no real cognition of what that could look like, except for like the white movies and things and stuff. And then I saw that Lifetime movie where that girl got gang raped in the basement by the football team and then didn't know what happened or who did it or what, and then nobody believed her and shit. That scared the shit out of me. I was like, you know what? Obviously, these parties are not monitored properly by, adults that are safe and can protect children. So I don't need to be there. Spend most of my time at home reading library books and romance novels and shit. That was my high school. That was my high school career. Staying at home reading romance novels that I got from the library. I guess that made me a pretty decent kid. I had a little attitude and it was a little bougie, but whatever. But anyways, so we just gonna let it ride. But yeah, so he got them watching novellas, and then some of them going home and watching Narcos and shit. But they learning Spanish. They learning a different language. You know that it makes your brain smarter when you know more than one language. Like, that's statistics and shit, nigga. And you can get better jobs and shit when you know more than one language and shit like that. All these bilingual motherfuckers out here to just get it from home and shit. I tried. My brain doesn't have the patience for it. I think once a year I pick up Duolingo and try to learn French for a week. I get a fixation on Duolingo for a week, once a year. And I play little games and try to learn a little French. And then, when I was in high school, my stupid ass was like, I'm going to be different. I'm not going to take Spanish. Everyone takes Spanish. I'm going to take French. I mean, French is the world language, though. So, I was doing something there. But it wouldn't stick. I can understand a few words here and there, but it does not stick to my brain. Oh, but I thought that was cool that he was teaching them, making it fun. He was making it fun with interesting shows and things like that, and that's cool. And so, anyways, I guess Jacob's growing on me a little bit. He calmed down that white foolishness. I don't know what they did, the writers, the whatever, the directions they was trying to go, but they calmed down a lot of that white foolishness he was doing that was irritating the shit out of me. And they just let him be a human and treat other people like regular humans and still be funny without being microaggressive and shit. Slowly but surely he's calming down a little bit more and more and actually caring about the kids and not objectifying them and just trying to say black vernacular words and be fucking weird. So he's growing. I didn't hate him as a person. I just I don't like white people that are clueless and then do microaggressions and then act like they don't know why you're mad. Shut the fuck up. How about that? How about you shut the fuck up? So anyways, Jacob and Melissa, they got this little beef with this hamster that Melissa has and shit. And I'm just I just feel like there's something deeper going on with this hamster situation, because Melissa just be talking about, she was just I love this little hamster so much. This little hamster is what stopped me from killing myself. That's basically what she said, and nobody's paying attention. Because this is the bitch that said that she didn't want to be married and she didn't want to have kids. But for some reason, you is so deeply connected to this hamster that you would just flippantly say some shit I would just drive my fucking shit into an overpass. What are you... Girl, I think you need to reassess. Because you shouldn't be that connected to this animal. I don't care what you're talking about. You shouldn't, is there something missing in your life that you keep telling yourself that you don't want, but maybe you actually do want it, but, you want it in a certain way? You want to live in separate houses with the nigga, or, sleep in separate bedrooms, or, still have your freedom. You can have a relationship any way you want to have it. You just have to meet somebody that also wants that relationship in that similar way that you want a relationship. I don't understand what the problem is, because if you're fine with everything, then... you wouldn't be crashing out like this over this hamster to the point where you talking about flippantly he's what stopped me from driving my shit into an overpass. Girl, I understand the hamster's lost in the school and you don't want it to die. If my cat jumped off the fucking balcony, there's a tree right next to my balcony, and if my cat jumped off that motherfucker and ran off, so I would burn this motherfucker to the ground to find my... But then I know that I too want, connection that is more than just my cat. And I know that that is deeper than just my cat. It's not just my cat that I would be missing and longing for. It would also tap into the fact that I want a husband and kids, and how that's not happening. And so like low key the cat is kind of like replacing that a little bit, a tiny bit, but mostly it's just because she's her own little personality and I love her and shit, and if anything happened to her I would raise hell and high water. But then I can say that and be honest with myself. But she over here like, I don't want a husband, I don't want kids, I want to live my life freely in the world. But then why aren't you happy? Why aren't you content? Why are you saying shit like, this little thing kept me from driving my car into an overpass? Why are you sitting here considering that? People that don't want to die, they don't make jokes about dying. That's why we take it seriously, because people that don't want to die, they don't make jokes about dying. They don't make jokes about not being here and shit. It just, for what? They enjoy the world that they've created for themselves. So I don't know what the fuck that's about. But anyways, Jacob loses the hamster. And so they run around the school trying to find the hamster, and they got this 100-day celebration where all the kids dress like old people and shit for 100 years old or some shit, and they doing this little step show in the gym and shit, and the hamster in there somewhere, and she freaking out and shit. And basically they find the hamster. So let's start with the easy shit first. They find the hamster. Jacob apologizes. Melissa's like, and everything gets figured the fuck out. Okay. Then we got Barbara feeling old again. Like, I don't know. Like, I understand Mr. Johnson don't be sitting up here hobbling around talking about, I can't do this, I can't do that. Why Barbara gotta have that character? Like, is she not like, but then she's not happy either, like not fully like she should be, because these church bitches and stuff. So, and church is life. So of course she has to be around them on a regular basis. So I'm thinking they're like constantly emotionally abusing her and shit. Bullying is emotional abuse. It is. Let my child be bullied. You're emotionally abusing my kid. I'm pressing charges. I mean, they kids. I'll probably do a mediation first. Like, let's do a mediation and figure this out. But if the school don't do shit about it, I'm pressing charges for harassment and assault. You ain't fucking with me and my future children. I don't give a fuck. But like, she don't like herself fully either. So it's like she's questioning herself. So I guess it makes sense. And like a lot of black women are like this. Like we aren't pedestalized in the world as a top tier beauty in our face. We're pedestalized in the world as top tier beauty behind our backs, because they steal from us every time we have a new trend or do our hair differently. You know how many white bitches I've seen with them fucking water wave, like bohemian braids and shit, and I hope they hair matted up and they had to cut it all the way the fuck off too. So like, it makes it like it's gaslighting, because you call me ugly, you say my lips are too big and my skin is too dark and my hair is too kinky, but then I turn around and your lips is big and you got the darkest of the dark tan and your hair is all big and all that other shit. And I feel like the 80s big hair movement was literally them copying black people hair, but whatever. And so like a lot of us do have a low self-esteem. And, we just try to get through life and enjoy ourselves as much as we can. But that's what opens the door for predators to come in. And then that's how we end up in these fucked up romantic relationships over and over and over again. So I guess it makes sense that she got low self-esteem because she's a black woman in this world. And she's a strong black woman, unless it's a bunch of church bitches making her feel bad about herself. That she would be, insecure and questioning herself, especially when the little girl, she was like, I think she's a little rapper girl that's on Instagram and shit, Van or something. I think that's her name. And so basically when they was dressing up as the 100-year-old people, she said that she was copying Barbara. And she was just like, I'm you. It was so cute how she said it. She was like, and Barbara's like, who are you? And she was like, I'm you. And I was like, that's so cute, little baby. God bless the babies. And Barbara was just like, that's how you see me. And then they go ask another student, a little boy, and he's like, oh yeah, you're like 63, right? And she's like, what? And he's like, well, I mean, look, you got the cardigan, but in this episode, they did kind of make her a little bit bag lady-ish and shit. Like, she don't need that many layers. She didn't need that. And then she didn't need them pearls on top of pearls on top of pearls and that little button up. Like, she don't usually be looking that elderly and shit, talking about, I'm putting my pearls in my pocketbook next to my peppermints and da da da. I was like, okay, girl. And then he was like, oh, and you talk with the proper King's English. And I'm just like, she do be talking like that. I just figured that's her voice. Like, even in interviews, she be talking like that. I mean, like, when she throw in the Jamaican patois and shit here and there, and like, but outside of the patois, it's like, maybe she went to, like, maybe her parents raised her a certain way or some shit, and that's just the way she talks, and that's nice. I don't got much to say about it. It's just the way she talk. So, but to a little child, that's like personification of you old, girl. Like, I'll tell you and shit. And so she just feels the type of way, and she's just like, oh my gosh, I'm old and decrepit and blah blah blah, and it just hits her in the gut, right? So then she goes to Ava and asks Ava to give her a little makeover situation. Look, the outfit, the hair, it didn't look bad. It just didn't look like her. And so it was just like, we went on Fashion Nova, but it looked better than that white bitch in the Deliverance and shit. At least it fit her and it enhanced and it looked nice. The titties was popping. It was nice, but it just wasn't her. It just didn't feel like her. The outfit didn't feel like a personification of who this person is, so it didn't look right. It looked youthful, and like, I grew up in the hood, and I still live in the hood, and I got this off Fashion Nova yesterday, and ain't nothing wrong with it, because I seen older people in the hood dressed like that, but it's like, it fits them, it doesn't fit her. I mean, like I said, it wasn't ugly, it was just, you got a certain aura and shit and personality, and then like, you dress a certain way and the shit you got on don't match your aura and your personality. It's just like, that's why everybody was looking at her like, oh, that's cute, but like with a frowny face, like, that's cute, but like, why? That don't seem like elegante, like you present yourself to be, like, that's weird. And so she got the outfit on, and she like hobbling around these heels that she, whatever, girl. And, so Janine, of course, takes it upon herself to talk to Barbara, because she's like, she wasn't wearing that this morning. Like, why is she wearing that? So she talks to Barbara, and now the shoe's on the other foot, and Janine is giving Barbara advice. And basically what happened was, her daughter is pregnant by the nigga that she with. They not married or nothing. And look here, I'm not judging people. If you want to have kids at a wedlock and shit like that, great, wonderful. And just make sure you know that marriage gives you benefits and rights that just having a kid with somebody doesn't. And so hopefully, I hope that they get married, so that, there's the rights that you get from marriage, like being able to, like, you're the next of kin. Your money's my money. Like, we work together. Like, of course, if you have a prenup, then, we can divvy that money up in a certain way based off the prenup and shit like that. And, your property is my property. Like, we got shit. We're locked in. So if you can show me that you can be locked in with just me, and you could trust me enough, and I could trust you enough to be locked in like that, where we sharing money and shit, nigga, then maybe I'll think about bringing a human into the world, because that's more intense. That's another person. That's a being that can form and change the world and shit. And I need to see first that you can do that shit for me. If you can do that shit for me, first, actually, no. First, I need to see that you can do that shit for yourself. Can you take care of yourself? Can you get your money together for yourself? Can you get your livelihood together for yourself? Can you love on yourself? Can you go to therapy for yourself? Can you take care of your mental health and your physical health on a consistent basis? Do you cope well, and can you self-soothe when you're triggered? Or are you crashing out whenever you're triggered? And then let me see you do that for me. And then I'm going to do the same for you, because I do all that shit for me. I'm definitely going to do it for you, because my autopilot is... What is my autopilot? My autopilot is... that the Husbands of Hollywood, the Kevin Hart show, And like the meme with the woman, I think she passed away now, but like God bless her. But like she was like jumping on Kevin Hart and wrapping her arms. She played his wife in the show, and she was like trying to. That's my autopilot, and so I need you to be more protective than I am, and that's a humongous feat. I need you to be more protective. I need you to be more of a provider. If you can show me that you're more than what I already am, nigga, we good. Cause then that means I'm already up here. You might be a little bit more up here, you know. That means we both are situated to where we can take care of a child. We can take care of a child. But just bringing a human into the world when I'm not even 100% sure that you can take care of yourself, let alone me, nigga, no. Like you don't trust me enough to combine your shit with me, but I'm supposed to trust you to combine your sperm with my egg and create this life and take care of this life. Oh no. Oh no. I'd rather do IVF and do it by my motherfucking self, nigga. You got me fucked up. Treating kids like a dog wetting a tree and shit, marking a spot. That's how these niggas be treating kids. Look at Future. Look at Elon Musk. Look at whatchamacallit, Nick Cannon and shit. That's an addiction. That's a problem. Like you don't see these children as people, and when they grow up and you got 14 fucking adults, they're not kids anymore. They're adults coming after you like what's it, Brian McKnight's kids looking at you crazy, and now Brian McKnight has to do the ultimate gaslighting and act like he never had any black children and stand in it and double down on it and have people not come to his shows because of it. Girl, you got me fucked up. I don't got time for that. Like life, making a life is too important. It's more important than marriage. So if you can't even marry me, then why would I make a life with you? Why would I do that? Like you can't even do shit. That's step 2. Step one is friendship, dating. Step 2 is relationship. Step 3 is marriage, and you can't even do step 3. Like you skipping step 3, and now bitch is pregnant and shit, and sitting here looking at you, and you looking at me, and I'm looking at you, and you looking at me, and it's no, nigga. So I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, think things through before you just become pregnant without marriage. Like, just think it through. Is the nigga showing up for you enough to show up for a new life like that? An innocent life that can't do anything for itself for like at least the first 10 years, like maybe the first 5 years can barely do anything for itself for the first 5 years, and you have to be 24/7. Can he be a partner? Can he show up and be a fucking father and not a babysitter? Like, you can't show up for me. You ain't gonna show up for my child, honey. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So, so I felt it when she asked her, like, what did y'all get married? But, she didn't judge her. And sometimes shit just happen and you end up pregnant. So that's why I don't judge, because I don't know your story. I don't know what happened. But for me and mine, like, no, nigga, like, like, if I got pregnant on accident and you haven't showed me enough to make me think that, like, you were worthy of being the father to my child, I'm old enough to where I'm not gonna get an abortion. I'm gonna keep it, because that might be the only time I can have a baby. But like, I'm just gonna be very distant. I don't even want your money. Like, nigga, I got money. Like, I just know, because I was that child. I was that child of a dad that paid child support and was barely ever there, and hated it. He hated it. And the kids can tell when their dad hates having to visit them. And I promised myself I would never do that to my future child if I had a child on accident. Like, okay, nigga, you just don't have to be here. Like, I don't need your money. Like, I don't want nothing from you. I don't want to punish you. Life will punish you, because obviously you're making poor decisions and shit. But God gave me a baby. So, hey, hell or high water, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to raise it. It's going to be magical. It's going to be beautiful. So, I don't know what to tell you. No, because when you tie niggas to you like that and they hate you, they start to hate you and resent you, that's how you end up on like Fatal Attraction and like true crime shows and shit like that. Like, that's how you end up dead. I don't got time for that. You can go on. Just go on with your bad self. Just stay the hell away from me and mine. don't feel like it. Ain't enough money in the world. Ain't enough money in the world to put up with a resentful ass nigga. Like, especially to have my child who's new and precious to me to put up with a resentful ass nigga. I don't have time for that. You don't need to learn that niggas are resentful. You need to learn that there's decent niggas in this world that won't be resentful. So you didn't need a dad. I made sure there was good male role models around you. You had a not football. I'm not letting my child play football. That's how you get CTE. You had a basketball coach. You only get like fucked up feet and shit with basketball. Might break a few bones and some shit. Reset them, bad knees, but your brain is still there. That's all that fucking matters. Your brain is still there. You're still you. Tennis, that's a nice game, like you had your coaches. That's what, and I vetted them to make sure that they weren't pedophiles and shit, like, yeah. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know, girl. So anyways, I felt it when she was just like, hey, when was the wedding? Like, I know, girl, when was the wedding? But like, you can't do that if it's an accident. You just gotta let it ride. You just gotta let it ride, let it slide. Like, okay, well, I hope he takes care of you and the baby like he's supposed to. Or else, he's gonna look up one day and he's gonna be gone. I don't know where he's gonna be, but he's just gonna be disappeared because I didn't like how he was treating you and my grandchild, and he just disappeared. I don't know. You tell the grandchild that daddy just disappeared one day, drove off for some milk, never came back. He may or may not be buried underneath my future mansion or whatever, but cremated in a fucking incinerator and shit, spread across the ocean. Like, he shouldn't have hit my fucking baby. Shit. So anyways, this is what started it all off. Like, she's a grandmother now, and the kids heard her on the phone talking about being a grandmother, so they was just like, my grandmother doesn't look like that. My grandmother is old, and you look older than my grandmother, and blah blah blah. Because kids don't know age. When I was that little baby's age, I thought 28 was old because my cousin was 28, and then I became 28, and I realized that kids don't understand age. They don't understand how fast the time goes. They don't realize none of this. And so, like, this set it off. And so Janine talks to Barbara in the end. And Janine is like, cause the daughter's like, oh, I'm gonna be over there every day. I'm gonna move back over there where you are, and we're gonna see you every day. And so it's making Barbara think that she's gonna have to babysit every day. And Janine's just like, you can just set boundaries. Like, you don't have to, like, just be you. And so Barbara's like, oh yeah, girl, I'm gonna just be me and shit. And she's trying to figure out what kind of grandma name she want to be. And Janine said, you heard grandma. And I'm just like, yeah, girl, I would be Nana, because my grandmother was Nana. It's country, it's cute, it's sweet. I'm a Nana. Hopefully I get to be a Nana. God sends me my husband before my eggs, dry up and blow away like dust in the wind. In the name of Jesus. So anyways, Barbara figures it out, and she realizes that she ain't got to dress fashion over chic just to get liked and feel young again. It was fashion over chic. It was. I don't care what you're talking about. They went to the prop department and was like, give me your most fashion-noviest, but still kind of fashionable, but still kind of like hood a little bit outfit. And they put that on her, and she looked okay, but it was not going with who she is as a person, so it looked weird. And then Shamar magical. So Shamar comes to school, young Shamar. He comes to school, and he like comes to answer the call of Ava because there was like a flood and like wires were crossed, and she wants him to fix shit. And apparently he's been texting her, and Ava's like telling her secretary Daya, I want Daya to be like the black dude on The Office. Like I think he was the only, no, there was two black dudes, but the one that would look at the camera and say little snarky shit on the side and shit like that, and just be standing there. I want Daya to be that nigga. I need her to start just saying little snarky shit and just looking at the camera and shit. I mean, that would be so just magical. Because I feel like that's her energy. That's the energy she gives me. So she's telling Daya, she's like, yeah, he texts me, but like, he's just trying to have regular conversation with me and shit. And I just want him to be upfront. Like, let's fuck. Like, let's. I was just like, on the one hand, I get it. Like, I was just like, nah, nigga, like, let's fuck. Like, flip it up, smack it down. Like, Goofy movie, like, perfect cast, nigga. Like, show me what you working with, nigga. Like, bring it around town, nigga. Like, I can dig it. But like, when you first get to know someone, girl, you gotta just let them get to know you and shit. You just gotta like talk. And I think that he's gonna bring her out of her shell, because I feel like all this money shit that she has going on, like worrying about like being rich and being with a rich nigga and all this other shit, I think that just has to do with safety. Like, if she met somebody that made decent, I'm thinking he's clocking 90,000. That's not bad money. That's not poor, especially in Philadelphia. They ain't living in California. Put her money with his money. They could do some shit with that. So I'm not gonna judge, because but like, if you want a wealthy nigga, girl, don't sling this nigga along like that. That's fucked up. If it's that important to you, then you go after a wealthy, decent nigga. But if you really want to try this and see, what it's like to date some nigga that's not wealthy, but still makes decent enough money to like, you know, buy a house one day, travel occasionally, and invest the money in things and stuff like that, then give it a whirl. He seems like a nice nigga. But like, I get it. But like, you just get to know this nigga. He wants to know you. He wants to involve himself with you, and it's toxic. We still in that like toxic, that's a black woman thing. We still in that toxic mindset, that struggle love mindset, that all these niggas want to do is fuck us anyways, or fuck on us anyways. So like, why even expect them? You objectifying a nigga. You objectifying a nigga and treating him like he's every other nigga that you ever talk to. And that's not okay, because it's not okay when they do it to us. It's not okay when they only see us as these little fucking dolls that they can stick their dick in, and then that's it. Or there's little companions that they can tell their traumas to and shit, and then dip on us, and then go fuck on the other bitch and tell their traumas to that bitch too. So like, you can't objectify him as a monster. Like, most of us, especially black women, are objectifying these niggas as monsters, because we've experienced these niggas as monsters, for some of us, since our own fathers. And so when you experienced a personality trait in the same group of people over and over again for most of your life, and you haven't seen anything different, you have absolutely no idea what different looks like. You just think that, oh, kindness is love bombing, because kindness and love bombing can often look the same, because love bombing isn't always these extravagant extra things. Sometimes love bombing is they literally act normal. They literally pretend to be normal and pretend to be interesting. Oscar winning performances. That's why it's so scary to date. Oscar winning performances until like you set a boundary. I was watching this TikTok earlier today, and she was talking about dropping duds, right? And so basically that means that you just give them something that's a little bit shallow, that like, or you make up something, so it's not something that hurts your feelings, but you make them think it would hurt your feelings. You do it in casual conversation. So like she used the example of her middle name, and she basically was like, used it in casual conversation and was like, yeah, I don't really like my middle name, it kind of sucks. And then this nigga kept begging her for her middle name, saying that he would never use it, right? And she, you got to play the game a little bit. She was holding back, and she was like, no, I don't want to tell you. Oh, shit like that. You got to make it believable. And then, finally he got it out of her. And she's like, oh, yeah, my middle name is blah, blah, blah. 4 days. Took 4 days. 4 days to clock this motherfucker. 4 days later, something, whatever, triggered, whatever happened, and intrusive thoughts won in his head, and he was calling her by her middle name all day. And that's when you dip on a nigga. Because she didn't dislike her middle name. Her middle name was cool to her, but she made him think. She dropped a dud. She made him think. And you have to be an Oscar winning performer too, bitch, and act like it really would hurt your feelings if this nigga did this thing to you. And I was just like, I love that. I love, because people that truly care about you and they hear something that makes you feel uncomfortable, they're not going to throw that shit in your face. And she even mentioned that, like, she's had friends where, like, she can't even remember the duds she dropped with those friends because they never threw shit in her face. They never made her feel bad about anything that she's told them that was personal or hurtful or would be hurt, could be used to hurt her. They never threw it back in her face. And so I was like, that's magical. Like, I would do that. I would do that. Like, if I get really connected deep enough with a nigga, I would do that. And you ain't gonna know. Yeah, I'm telling the people viewing right now, but the dud is so innocuous. It's so just like casually dropped that you would know what dud it is. You would know what it is. You wouldn't even know it was a dud. You don't start the conversation. You don't just drop it in the middle or anything. You don't like hurry up and say it. You just casually just, oh yeah, I don't really like my middle name. And then you just go on with the conversation and then wait for this nigga to take the fucking bait. What do you mean you don't like it? What's your middle name? I don't really want to, it's not, I just don't really like it. So I don't really want to tell you right now. Tell me, what do you, I don't really wanna, like, no, tell me. And then it's and then 4 days. She said it took this nigga 4 fucking days before he proved that he was a monster. And I'm like, oh, I'm not for testing motherfuckers, but I mean, like, these niggas out here killing us and shit, girl. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, we need, because they're such good Oscar-winning performers. Sometimes when they're love bombing you and they act normal and shit, you gotta do something. You gotta do something and that's something that is not harmful. It's not malicious, because I'm just asking you not to do something hurtful to me. That's not malicious. She literally has friends where she dropped duds and she can't remember the duds she dropped because they never did anything hurtful to her. She wasn't looking for it. She wasn't asking for it. Niggas just weeded themselves out. And so I love that. And so I get it that, like, she's just in her protective phase. And I like it too, because then it's like you get to see. I hope they flesh it out and they dive deeper into that protective phase of hers. That protective shell that a lot of black women have, especially hood black women. Put your nasty tail on my drink. Bad. Ugh, disgusting. Move your tail. Especially hood black women. Like, I won't even say hood, it's like aggressive. It's like this aggressive push away, like cuz I've done it and I'm from the hood. And so, like, you just put this wall up, and like I've tried to maneuver that so I'm not aggressive or mean anymore. I'm just very polite and cordial. If you want to hold a conversation, you're gonna have to lead that conversation. I'm not gonna ask you a bunch of questions about you. I don't care. Unless I'm attracted to you, and then I might just crash out a little bit if I'm attracted to you. So that's why I'm not attracted to niggas. I tried my best not to have crushes on niggas. No, because I said this in another video. When I have crushes on niggas, I crash out. I start speech impediments, and I will literally act like you're not in the fucking room. I will dissociate so completely from you being in the room. You could be right next to me, nigga, and I won't even look at you. I think it's like a fight, flight, or freeze. That's my freeze. I'm just like, I'm scared. I don't know. Like, I've had feelings and shit. Like, let me just get through whatever this event is so I can get away from this nigga, because, like, I need to go home and process these feelings because they're a lot. No, when you have like a lot of emotions for a man, I saw this on a meme yesterday, and it was saying how, like, The world has taught us that nonchalance is romantic. So the ones of us that have grew up with neurodivergencies are just very emotionally expressive and shit like that. We're made to look crazy when we express how much we want to be with somebody. Like, I'll literally write poems and shit for niggas. I was. I was writing poems for niggas and shit, girl. I was checking in with them all the time. I was, did you eat lunch today? Like, all of that. And I just know that's who I am. If I like you, then that's it. Like, I'm not gonna hide it. I'm not gonna be nonchalant. I'm not. And so I don't know, like, I've been put off so much by doing that I don't know how to interact with a nigga I got a crush on. Like, because if I interact with you in a way that's comfortable for me, it's going to be uncomfortable for you, and then I'm going to get rejected or embarrassed. I don't mind rejection because that's the dice you roll when you like somebody. But you're not going to embarrass me, motherfucker. You're not gonna embarrass, cause I will. Oh God, see, that's why I don't even try. No, that's why I don't have a crush on nobody. Nope, I don't like nobody. If they like me and they come up to me and talk to me and they got the qualifications that I need, maybe tentatively I'll step a toe out the door and hold a conversation with you. And you gonna have to pull me the rest of the way though, like that nigga did with Ava. Like, you know how he took the lead, and Janine and Gregory was on some neurodivergent shit, taking everything she said literally, talking about he need to get her a helicopter and shit. And he was just looking at them like, no, like, if she likes me, she likes me. If she doesn't, she doesn't. I love that. I love the bravery of this nigga. He said, if I get rejected, I get rejected. Like, might hurt my feelings a little bit, but at least I tried. I was like, what niggas is out here being brave and just trying and seeing what happens, and then taking rejection if it comes their way and moving the fuck on. Wow, that's magical. And then he went in there and asked her out, and she said yes without even looking at him because she's shy. That's how shyness looks when you're a strong black woman. You just look like you in your phone all the time. You don't really give a shit. You nonchalant, whatever. I would crash the fuck out if a nigga that I was actually interested in asked me out. I would just be like, really? Oh God. Ugh. See, I just have so many emotions. No, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve all these emotions and me protecting you and me doing things for you and me making sure that you're safe and me making sure that you're happy and me making sure that you've eaten today. Like, you don't deserve it. You don't. Those are magical gifts that I have, and that nan nigga has proven that they deserve those gifts from me. So I just literally dissociate and act like you're not in the room. Like, you have to actively get in my face and talk to me and make me make eye contact with you. To the point where if I ignore you, now it's obvious, and I'm not gonna embarrass myself. So I guess I'll talk to this nigga because now he's in my face. And if I actively ignore him talking to me, like, other people can see and they gonna think I'm a bitch. And I don't need that energy, that I think you're a bitch energy. I don't need that. That's a lot. Let me hold a conversation, and then you just pull it out of me and shit, and we'll see what happens. If you meet the criteria, you won't know if you meet the criteria or not. May the odds be ever in your favor, Because I swear to you, if you talk to me and it's not a cordial conversation and you ask me out and I don't like you, I'm just going to be like, oh, no, thank you. Hurt a nigga's feelings, and it wasn't even said in a mean way. You just can't take rejection and shit, nigga. Like, no, thank you. But that I'm really flattered. Thanks. And I'll just walk the fuck off and leave you standing there looking crazy because I didn't like you in the first place. But then at the end of the day, I probably wouldn't be ignoring you. If I don't like you like that, I'm not going to ignore you. Like, I'm going to say hi. I'm going to and that's the weird shit that happens to me, because me being friendly makes niggas think that I like them. When in reality, me being friendly means I don't like you like that. I feel comfortable enough to speak to you. And entertain a conversation with you and talk to you about, and say hi and greet you when I see you, because I've seen you often enough to do that. And then niggas think that I like them because When really, nigga, it's so much the opposite. It's so much the opposite. It really fucking is the opposite. And I don't know what to tell you. Like, they be liking me and shit, and I just be like, still giving them cordial and polite. Like, it doesn't fluctuate. It doesn't change. I'm just gonna give you cordial and polite. I'm not gonna give you more than that. So, because I didn't like you like that to begin with, like, at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a tiny bit. It's gross. But you're a human being and you got feelings and emotions, and I'd like to get to know you as a human being, you know, be friendly and shit. But like, no, be like, your penis will never ever enter these walls. Like, it's that temple. All this is a temple. I'm a goddess. And so if I'm actually entertaining a conversation with you and not ignoring you as soon as I walk into the room, as soon as I see you in the room, then like, I don't like you like that, nigga. Like, because I'm not scared of you. Niggas I like that, I'm scared of. Because now I have to figure out how to contain these emotions that will most likely not be returned. And that shit makes me feel so fucking scared. Like, how do I act like I don't like this nigga? I just go to the extreme and just dissociate and act like you're not in the room. Because I don't know how else to, you know, I'm very real with my emotions, and it's very hard for me to mask. So if someone I am romantically interested in is talking to me, I'm gonna give you the Google eyes. I'm gonna be like, wow, you're so pretty. I'm just gonna say it too. Don't let me be inebriated. I'll just say it, because I've many a times told a nigga that, you're so pretty, I like you, wow, you're just lovely. That's why I don't talk to niggas that I like. Nope. Because apparently you're not supposed to say things like that to niggas, because they can't handle it. They crash out, or they get a big head about it and start treating you fucked up for some reason. I don't know. You give them a compliment and they treat you fucked up. For some reason you give them a compliment and they treat you fucked up. So I don't have time for it. I'm about to be 38. Like, I've had that happen too many times. I'm just gonna ignore you until you get my attention. Because I don't feel like it. I don't. The crazy shit I've done to get a nigga to like me in the past has tired me out, because it has never been returned in the way that it needs to be returned. And so you have never matched my freak, like, or even surpassed my freak and showed me some new things. So like, I don't have it. So I felt it with Ava. Like, it's like, how do you talk to a nigga that's nice? How do you interact with a nigga that's nice? And so like, she got this kind of wishy-washy, like, she's on, but she don't want to give him too much, and then she don't know how to, like, I can't do that either. Like, it's still awkward when she does it. Some bitches can actually like pretend the whole way and just mask completely, give you full sultry and flirty, but like professional at the same time. And she gives you the flat affect, flat voice, and then now she's regular, and then now she's like got an attitude. Now she's regular. For me, I'm just gonna give you the, you're not in the room right now. You're not here. I completely dissociated. Like, you standing over there, there's no one standing there. That's the wall. Because I will say some shit and I will want that shit to be returned. I think that's what fucks me up. I want that shit returned. Like, how dare you not like me back? How dare you not like my compliment, motherfucker? Why you wait? Maybe if I do this and then I'm caught up in this stupid ass cycle of trying to get niggas to like me and shit. No. And embarrassing myself. No. I'm gonna act like you don't exist, and, you know, hope that you have like a partner or something, so that I can, as soon as a nigga I got a crush on gets into a relationship, something in me turns off. I was just like, oh, well, you got somebody, so it's a 0% chance now. So there you go. It's like a relief too. Like, I'm like, oh, it's over. All of these feelings is over. I don't have to feel this shit. No, because it's morally wrong. Like, See how the neurodivergency, logically, the logic defeats the emotions when niggas is in a relationship and I find out and I had a crush on them before I found out they was in a relationship. Like, it just shuts off. Like, I don't need, I don't need that. That's wrong. I'm glad you found somebody and I can let this shit go. Magical. So yeah, I get her whole shit. I'm just not gonna sit here and hold a conversation with this nigga. I had Daya talk to this nigga before I talk to this nigga. My office door would always be closed. He would have to break down the door and be like, bitch, you gonna talk to me? And I'd be like, what? What? So I felt it, but no, like, this nigga's assertive and shit. He went in there, domineering and shit. And he was like, hey, you want to go out on a date? She was like, yeah. He was like, okay, I'll text you. And she was like, okay. It's magical. I know. Cause you gotta be a little dominant. You gotta be a little forceful, a little, like, not like forceful in a hurtful way, but like forceful in like the dark romance way where it's a happy ending and they fall in love and they have babies and it's magical and he treats her with respect at some point. Oh God, I need to stop reading dark romances. It's horrible. But anyways, that was my review of Abbott Elementary, this episode, the 100th day of school or some shit. I think it's 100 episodes. Like, that's why it's the 100 days of school. Like, look at them having 100 episodes. That's magical. And they're gonna have a 5th season. Magical. I don't know what else to say. I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think. And later days.